for 7.5 minutes. I also asked, or we had somebody else ask, because I'm filling in this role tonight, a little bit about Agnieszka. And she tells me that the thing that we maybe don't know is that she is celebrating, I believe it's tonight, her shacking up with her husband 5 years ago. Which is terrific, so she obviously enjoys a round of applause for that. The title of her speech is The Sudden Demise of Henry Beckett. It comes from the book Notes of a Dirty Old Man by Notes of a Dirty Old Man is the actual book it comes from. And again, it's going to be an interpretive reading, and this is mostly about her voice. And when you're filling out your evaluation sheets, that would be the most appropriate thing to talk about. So please welcome our next speaker, Toastmaster Evanson Wilczynski.
His name was Henry Beckett, and it was Monday morning. He was already in his shorts and moved to the bathroom to shave. When he looked into the mirror, he saw that his face was gold-colored with green polka dots. He looked again, still holding the shaving brush in his hand. The brush dropped to the floor. His face stayed in the mirror, gold-colored with green polka dots. The walls began to move. Henry held onto the wash basin. He went to the phone. Yes, hello. This is Henry Beckett. I won't be in today. I'm sick. Walked to the bathroom again. It was useless. The face was still there. He filled the bathtub with water, then went back to the phone. The nurse wanted to give him an appointment for next Wednesday. Listen, this is an emergency. I got to see the doctor today. It's life and death. I can't tell you. No, I can't tell you. But please, squeeze me in today. You've got to. She gave him a 3:30 appointment. He took off his shorts and got into the tub. He noticed that his body was also gold with green polka dots everywhere. It covered his belly, his back, his balls, his penis, and his legs. It wouldn't rub off with soap. He got out, toweled himself, and put his shorts back on. He went over to the couch and sat down. He was crying. He had his golden green face in his hands, and he was crying. I can't sell insurance this way, can I? God, why can't it be cancer, heart attack, something nice and clean? God has shitted on me. That's all. God has shitted on me. At 3:10, he had his hat pulled low over his eyes and a scarf around his throat. He had dark shades on. He drove to the doctor's office looking straight ahead, trying to appear invisible. Nobody seemed to notice him. At the doctor's office, he looked down at his magazine, trying not to be seen. Finally, the doctor called him in. How are you, Mr. Beckett? Look at me and you'll see. The doctor turned around. Good God, he said. Yeah. Mr. Beckett, I've never seen anything like it. Please disrobe and sit on the table. When did this first occur? This morning when I woke up. And how do you feel? Like I'm smeared with shit that won't come off. I mean, physically, I felt fine until I saw the mirror. The doctor wrapped the tube around his arm. Blood pressure normal. Let's cut the horse shit, doctor. You'll be asking me to step on the scales next. You don't know what this is, do you? No, never have I seen anything like it. Your grammar's bad, doctor. Where are you from? Austria. Austria. What are you going to do with me? I do not know. Maybe a skin specialist? Hospitalization? Tests? I'm sure they'll find me very interesting, but it won't go away. What won't go away? What I've got. I can feel it inside. It won't go away. Ever. The doctor began to listen to his heart. Beckett knocked the stethoscope away. He began to get dressed. Don't be hasty, Mr. Beckett, please. Then he was dressed and out of there. He left the hat, the scarf, and the dark shades. He made it to his place and got his hunting rifle and enough rounds of Remington ammunition to kill a battalion. He found the cutoff on the freeway that led to the knoll. The knoll overlooked the slow turn that cut the speed of the cars down. Why he'd ever noticed the knoll, he never knew. He got out of the car and climbed to the top of the highest hill. He dusted the telescopic sight, loaded, took off the safety catch, and flattened out. At first he didn't get it right. Each time he fired, the shot appeared to hit behind the car. Then he practiced leading the cars into the bullet. The speeds of each of the cars are practically the same, but instinctively he varied the lead to the changing speed of each car. The first one he got was very strange. The bullet entered the right forehead, and the man seemed to look right up at him. And then the car flipped, hit the fence, flipped on its side, and he shot at the next one. A woman missed, hit her engine. It was on fire, and she just sat there in the car, screaming and waving her arms and burning. He didn't want to see her burn. He shot her. The traffic stopped. He decided not to shoot any more women. Bad taste. Or children. Bad taste. A doctor from Austria. Why did they stay in Austria? Weren't there any sick in Austria? He got 4 or 5 more men before they knew a shooting was going on. Then the patrol cars came and the ambulances. They blocked off the freeway. He let them load the dead and the wounded into the ambulance. He didn't shoot at the attendants. He shot at the cops. He got one cop, a real bulky one. He lost sense of time. It got dark. He sensed they were moving up to the knoll toward him. He didn't stay in the same position. He moved toward them. He caught 2 of them in ambush from the left flank. Then some firing from his right drove him toward the knoll. They were backing him up. An established position was the worst thing. He tried to make a break, but the fire was too heavy. He slowly backed toward the knoll, saving what ground he could. You could hear them talking and cursing. There were many of them. He stopped firing and waited. He got one more and moved further down the knoll. It was getting darker. Then they had him on top of the knoll, but there wasn't any brush coverage for them, just small-sized boulders, and all of them wanted to go home alive. He decided he could hold for quite a while. They began to shoot flares up on the knoll. He shot some of them off, but parts of others remained. So soon, there were too many flares burning to knock out. They were potting at him, getting closer. Shit. Shit. Well, a flare lit particularly close, and Henry could see his hands on the rifle. He looked again. His hands were white. White! It was gone! He was white! 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 Hey! He screamed. I quit! I give up! I quit! Henry ripped at his shirt, looked at his chest. White! He took off his shirt and tied it to the end of his rifle. He waved it. They stopped firing. He threw his rifle down toward them. He threw it hard, and he walked slowly down toward them, his hands high over his head. I quit. I surrender. I surrender. I surrender. He could hear voices as he moved toward them. What are we gonna do, man? I don't know. Watch for tricks. He killed Eddie and Weaver. I hate his guts. He is getting closer. I quit. I surrender. One of the cops fired 5 shots into his belly and 2 in the lungs. They left him out there for a good minute before anybody moved. Then they came out. The one who shot him first got there first. He turned the body over with his boot. The traffic on the highway was moving again.